And in the same time, Herod the king sent power to torment some men of the church. And he slew by sword James, the brother of John. And he saw that it pleased to the Jews, and cast to take also Peter. And the days of thirst loaves were. And when he had caught Peter, he sent him into prison, and betook him to 4 quaternions of knights, to keep him, and would after pass bring him forth to the people. And Peter was kept in prison, but prayer was made of the church without ceasing to God for him. But when Herod should bring him forth in the night, Peter was sleeping betwixt 2 knights, and was bound with 2 chains. And the keepers before the door kept the prison. And lo, an angel of the Lord stood nigh, and light shone in the prison. And when he had smitten the side of Peter, he raised him, and said, Rise thou swiftly. And anon the chains fell down from his hands. And the angel said to him, Gird thee, and do on thine hoses. And he did so. And he said to him, Do about thee thy clothes, and pursue me. And he went out and pursued him. And he wist not that it was sooth that was done by the angel, for he guessed himself to have seen a vision. And they paused the first and the second ward, and came to the, and they passed the first and the second ward, and came to the iron gate that leadeth to the city, which anon was opened to them. And they went out and came into the street, and anon the angel passed away from him. And Peter turned again to himself and said, Now I know verily that the Lord sent his angel, and delivered me from the hand of Herod, and from all the abiding of the people of Jews. And he beheld, and came to the house of Mary, the mother of John, that is named Mark, where many were gathered together and praying. And when he knocked at the door of the gate, a damsel, Rhoda by name, came forth to see. And when she knew the voice of Peter, for joy she opened not the gate, but ran in and told that Peter stood at the gate. And they said to her, Thou madest. But she affirmed that it was so. And they said, It is his angel. But Peter abode still and knocked. And when they had opened the door, they saw him and wondered. And he beckoned to them with his hand to be still, and told how the Lord led him out of the prison. And he said, Tell ye to James and to the brethren these things. And he went out and went into another place. And when the day was come, there was little troubling among the knights that was done of Peter. When Herod had sought him, and found not after that he had made inquiring of the keepers, he commanded them to be brought to him. And he came down from Judea into Caesarea, and dwelled there. And he was wroth to men of Tyre and Sidon, and they of one accord came to him, when they had counseled with Blastus, that was the king's chamberlain. They asked peace, for as much as their countries were victuated of him. And in a day that was ordained, Herod was clothed with king's clothing, and sat for doomsmen, and spake to them. And the people cried, The voice of God, and not of man. And anon, an angel of the Lord smote him, for he had not given honor to God, and he was wasted of worms, and died. And the word of the Lord waxed and was multiplied. And Barnabas and Saul turned again from Jerusalem, when the ministry was filled, and took John that was named Mark,